we would like to see that current week's intervention and as well as some of the activities that we've discussed during this class. So moving forward, next, the note you turn in for this week's quiz should be on achieving independence and using maybe some of the information that some of the activities that we're going to be going over today and getting that applicable to your folks. All right. And these need to be TBS notes, and they just need to be current from this. So when you turn in next week, it needs to be a note from this week. Okay. Any questions about that or anything else? And just a reminder, our cameras need to be on. Need to see those pretty faces throughout the class. All right. Well, if nobody's got any questions, let's get started. Okay, so week 2 this week is achieving independence. Right, that's a huge one, I think. Okay, so just from your guys' perspective or opinions, let me see, let's go with just 2 of you. If I can get a couple of you to tell me what's the difference between an intervention and an activity. Cameron, go ahead.
An intervention is used to it's more like teaching a client. You're teaching a client something versus an activity. It's just like something you're doing with them.
Okay.
My understanding.
All right, good. Thank you. Can I get 2 or 1 more? Can somebody else give me something? What it is to you? Tiffany, Lanier?
I think when it comes to interventions, it's more of something that we're trying to implement for them to use when we're not there. An activity is something more to do with them while we're with them to get their mind occupied then.
Okay. That's a good perspective. Somebody else had raised their hand too. I couldn't see it.
She just said what I was gonna say.
Oh, okay. That's all right. All right, thank you. Well, you're on the right track. You're absolutely on the right track. All right. So an intervention is actually that's the service that we're providing. Like we're providing ongoing assessment of needs. We are providing the service of helping someone achieve independence, right? So that's what we did with the client. The activity is the tool that we use. So that's the tool that TBS used to provide the service. Like it's specifically how did you help them work towards their goal? That's what your activity is. So just as an example, if TBS provides the intervention of ongoing assessment of needs to a client, how they provide that service might be engaging them in the activity of completing a SNAP assessment. So the intervention, does that make sense to everybody? If the intervention's ongoing assessment of
Are you able to hold that up there for like just a second?
What you need?
I just wanted to write it.
No, you're fine. And I'll send you this. I'll send you this PDF of this, so you'll have it as well. Okay. Just so you know, but yeah, I'm a note taker. You can go right ahead. It helps it stick in my brain. All right, but does that make sense to anybody or to everybody? The differences? Good. All right, so just a little refresher of how the Ohio Administrative Code, how it applies specifically to achieving independence. It's restoration of daily functioning and assisting the individual to restore daily functioning specific to managing their own home, including managing their money, medications, and using any community resources, and other self-care requirements. All right, so when we talk about achieving independence, we should be encouraging that, right? Which tasks or skills a client wants to increase their independence doing should be identified by the client or by their guardian, and it should be within the context of the client's mental health treatment needs. So, for example, does someone's symptoms of anxiety prevent them from taking the bus? So therefore, they can't get to the grocery store. They have to have somebody else do their shopping. So just kind of looking at things, trying to see the whole picture of why. So we encourage independence by assisting in achieving personal independence and managing their basic needs, just those everyday things that somebody needs to take care of. focusing on meeting clients' needs and decreasing any barriers related to mental health. So like for that example, someone's anxiety is preventing them from doing their own grocery shopping. So, figuring out a way to help them cope with that anxiety to overcome that barrier so they can do their own shopping. And with the goal for them to be able to do this task independently and maybe with a little bit of accommodation or with minimal supports, but for them to be able to do it themselves. That's the goal. So why is achieving independence important? It allows individuals to live with equal opportunities and to thrive with their own terms and conditions. It helps build their self-confidence, makes them feel more empowered, more positive, and more fulfilled in life. And increasing independence leads to the client feeling empowered to advocate for themselves, to take action towards their own goals, and ultimately experience a decrease in mental health symptoms and an increase in functioning. But like if somebody, when I don't care who you are, even if it's one of us, when we accomplish something, when we learn a new skill, like don't you just stand just that little bit taller, your shoulders go back out a little bit. You feel better. It makes you feel good. It helps your self-confidence. So consider that too when we're thinking about this with our clients. So why is achieving independence important? It gives the client a sense of control to promote feelings of achievement and self-worth. They're feeling in control of their actions, choices, and their situations. That can have such a positive effect on someone's mental health. And clients may require our support for brainstorming unique approaches for accommodations to increase their level of independence due to mental health symptoms. So maybe they're just stuck and they can't figure out how to get around whatever it is. So sometimes it's nice to have a new perspective, a fresh set of eyes, and you can provide that for them. So are there any additional reasons why why TBS helping clients achieve independence is important? Like, why does that matter? Let me get two of you, please. Eliana?
Well, for me, I have a couple of clients that are trying to get into home choice.
Mm-hmm.
So I know with home choice, they want to see like a sort of independence and to see like they can take care of themselves if they were to be like on their own in an apartment or a home. And like a really good news, one of my clients actually is going to be leaving the next like month or two because he did achieve all those goals. So I'm really
Oh,
happy for him. He
I
A little
bet.
birdie whispered to me that he got approved, and so I was talking to him about it yesterday, and he was so excited because now he gets to go
I,
home to be with his wife and his kids. So
yeah,
I like, and it was just so good to like, I've never seen him in a better mood. So it was just crazy to be able to see him be like that. And I was like, oh,
oh,
so excited. So
I
I know
bet.
it's so empowering for him because it's been a long time coming. And he's every single session, he's like, I want to go home. I'm like, I know you do. We're working on it.
Yeah. And then to see that goal come to fruition, like, and that's something. That's
Yeah, it was
awesome. Good for them.
amazing.
That's amazing. Good deal. Thank you. And Cameron, I think you had your hand up.
Yeah, I was gonna kind of add on to what Liliana was saying. It's
Yeah.
because the clients who are institutionalized, like in a car facility or
Mm,
any type of facility,
yes.
they're trying to go home. So helping them achieve that independence, learning those skills, they'll have those skills that they can use, and they'll be prepared for when they go home.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody else had their hand up. I apologize. I can't. Whoever else had their hand up, I can't. Go ahead.
I did.
Chelsea. There you go.
I like using achieving independence for socialization with
Mhm.
getting that community together. So I just did like the benefit of sharing a meal with somebody with one of my
Mhm.
clients. And now he's having at least one meal in the dining room. So,
Yay.
and he made a friend. So it worked
Yeah.
out well.
Awesome. Doesn't that just make you feel good though? Like when you see somebody take that step or actually like they find you're just okay, so just not to spend too much time here, but I also want to look at this from a long-term care perspective. How many of you guys are in long-term care? I don't know if it's a handful of you. Okay, I know I've heard, in the past that people tend to struggle, but there's still just so much that someone can do, even though because long-term care, sometimes the goal is not going to be to move out, right? That's not going to be, but there's still goals to be had. All right. Okay, well, good job. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. That was really good. I love the good stories. Awesome. All right, so let's start at the beginning.
I have a quick question. Is that okay? And
Sure,
I apologize. I'm
absolutely.
sorry. I told you guys I'm not
You're
good
fine.
with this computer thing, so I don't know how to do my little hand on, on the Zoom. So I didn't want to touch anything and lose you guys. So I
You're
apologize
okay.
for just blurting out. But I just had a quick question.
Mhm.
You had said earlier, like you used grocery shopping as an example for somebody with anxiety.
Mhm.
I guess my question would be, of course, we would want them to get out and grocery shop, blah, blah, blah. But can we also practice like online shopping, something that they don't have anxiety with online
Mhm.
shopping? Or are we
Yeah,
trying to get them to overcome the anxiety itself? Like, are we trying to have them work through the actual thing that is hindering them? Or
mhm.
do we want to give them alternates to avoid it altogether? Do you see what I'm saying? And just when
I
you had
do, and I'm
said
gonna
that
go with option.
example,
I'm gonna go with option C, all the above.
okay.
Well, truly, because okay, so if I'm having to rely, I'm the one with the anxiety. Like I cannot make myself get on that bus. I can't do it. You can't make me. So I've got to pay somebody or, whatever the case may be to go do my shopping. So you want it twofold. Like you want me to have that independence to be able to do my own shopping. So, online shopping is an alternative, right? A very good alternative. But in the meantime, I also want to be working on those skills to overcome that anxiety. Does that make
Okay.
sense, to overcome that barrier, to be able to, because maybe it's just not grocery shopping, but I need to take the bus to the doctor, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I would just say here, just like not focus so much on the growth, on the final aspect, like just to get me grocery shopping, but how it's impacting me as a whole. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
it's more getting on the bus than getting to the store. But I like how you're thinking though. So yeah, you give an alternative, so that I am still independently doing my shopping, right? I'm doing it online, but I'm still doing it
Yep.
myself. And then just work me towards overcoming that anxiety. Maybe I'll start taking an Uber instead of riding the bus with a bunch of, what I mean? And
Okay.
again, that's what I meant previously. Like, and having another perspective really helps people. I mean, how many times do we all get stuck on one idea and then your friend comes along and be like, hey, why didn't you do it like this? And you're like, duh, because sometimes we're just too
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
it's really
Thank
awesome
you.
when it's like my 10-year-old granddaughter pointing out the obvious thing. Like, yeah, go away. All right, good job. No, but and don't worry about interrupting. Like if you can't find that's I'm never going to be upset with somebody asking a question ever. All right. Any other questions? Okay. All right. So just some reminders. We want to continue to look for opportunities to increase level of independence at all points during treatment. What can the client be working towards on their own? And it can be anything from sitting up and getting my own slippers and robe before I get out of bed in the morning, to brushing my teeth, to taking a bus to the grocery store. It can be so many things. Your client's diagnostic assessment and psych eval will provide basic treatment recommendations and direction based on medical necessity. Okay, so now real quick, what is medical necessity? Da-da-da-da. I'm going to get the Jeopardy
Any,
music and start playing.
anything we can be, or anything we can bill for.
Okay. What might that? That's okay. No, no, you're good. Kelly, Sheldon.
Like depression or anxiety or something.
Okay. But when we talk about medical necessity, like what is it we're like, you always hear that we need to see medical necessity in those notes, right? It needs to be there. What is it we're looking for?
If they're medical, as far as health or body is, it's based on that. If you need to help somebody due to their, if someone's having a psychiatric breakdown, that's medically necessary for you to step in and
Yeah,
assist. Or if they fell down on the floor and broke a hip, it's kind of medically necessary that you step in and assist.
right. It's the reason we're there, right? It's the reason we're providing service. I'm like in a nutshell, I guess, for simplifying things. So by definition, it's services that are clinically indicated for the diagnosis and or treatment of a mental or behavioral health condition. You document your client's clinical circumstances that support the need for the specific treatment you provided. So you want diagnosis, the symptoms that are being addressed, how the intervention and activity helps them meet their goal. Okay, Lisa, do you still have your hand up, or was that from before? Or is your hand up from before, or did you have another question?
I wanted to say that Liliana just messaged to be let back in because her Zoom crashed.
Oh gosh. Bless her heart. Let me find- Give me a second here. Let me grab her. Oh, for the love of Pete.
I get it.
There we go. I'm like, where's what I need? Okay, here we go.
Yeah, sorry, Stacey. I made you the host.
No, you're
so
okay.
if you go to participants, there should be a waiting
I
room.
got it.
You got
I
it?
got
Okay.
Yep, I found her. I just kept clicking the wrong thing. Like,
Thanks,
I've
guys.
done
I'm
that literally
sorry.
since
My Zoom
No, it's
crashed
okay.
out.
It's all right. Well, I saw you pop up, but it didn't click. Wait a minute, she was already here. That's fine. Okay, welcome back. All right, so we're talking about medical necessity. Now, oh, come on. There we go. There we go. Now we're working. Gee, Christmas. Okay, so as treatment continues, we're increasing independence can be a continuous starting point for services, and depending on client needs, level of functioning, and how ready they are to make a change. All right, so achieving independence. So by now you know your client and their needs, and you've built some rapport with them, right? Like you guys have starting to build that relationship. They're opening up to you more. They're relaxing more. So you may hear your client expressing needs for more independence, for more control in their life. Mental health symptoms may be a barrier to them achieving this without TBS or other supports. So it's just as you get to know somebody, like you may learn more, you're going to learn more about them than just what's on that diagnostic assessment, right? Because that's somebody that's talked to them just, yeah, it's based on what, an hour or so, or however much time they spent. But as people relax and as you build that relationship, the communication opens up and you will learn more about them and you'll be able to help them find those things that's going to make their life better. So some barriers to independence, communication barriers, being prompt dependent, disability or physical limitations. And we're going to break these down further. All right, so communication barriers. Expressive abilities, that could be difficulty expressing their needs, a delay in processing, or having difficulty putting to words what they're experiencing. Sometimes somebody just needs a minute just to kind of process whatever it is you're asking or whatever it is that they're trying to communicate. So you might just need to have a little more patience on occasion. And then understanding the information being provided, understanding signs, symbols, being able to read. Right. So anything that can get in the way of somebody being able to express their own wants and needs, being able to understand what's being communicated to them, or there could be a delay. Or someone could be prompt dependent. What does that mean? Just one or two of you. What do you think that means? What's that mean to you? When I say someone's prompt dependent, what's that refer to? Anybody? Got a guess?
You have to tell them to do it before they do it.
Yep.
Did you take a bath? Did you wash your hands? Let's go do it before they're able to do it.
Yep. Kelly? Thank you. Yep. Go ahead, Kelly.
They need reminders
Mhm.
to do things. It could be anything as simple as brushing their teeth, washing their hands, taking their medicine, that sort of thing, to they have a care conference coming up.
Good. Thank you. Good job. Cameron?
I was gonna kind of tie those together. It's both, physical prompts and verbal prompts that the clients need to, assistance with doing things.
Right. And Chelsea? Thank
Um,
you.
be like a bedridden person waiting for that caregiver to come into the room with the Hoyer or lift instead of using their call light.
Yeah, it could be. And all of those are true. Like all of those things are correct. It's the client has become completely dependent on just getting those cues from staff or mom or the guardian or the caregiver, or whatever the case may be. Like just brushing their teeth, for example. Like they know all the steps, right? They know to get the toothpaste, take the cap off. But Jimmy's not going to do it until I like touch his hand and then point to the toothpaste. Then he's going to pick up the toothpaste, even though he knows, and maybe he's not going to, put the toothpaste on and say, okay, now what's our next step without just those prompt reminders. So being prompt dependent or an over reliance or dependence on caregiver support. And again, clients waiting for the prompt instead of trying to do it themselves. Like instead of hitting that call light, they're waiting on you to come to them. And so you're all good job, guys. Thank you. And excuse me, and with a disability can also be a barrier. So independence is a critical skill, especially in the home community and with your job and employment. But some individuals with disabilities are not able to perform certain skills when professional support fades. Skills may not be fully mastered independently, and independence really should be a lifetime goal. So what are some things when we talk about with a disability? Physical barriers or are structural obstacles in natural or man-made environments that prevent or block mobility. Think about somebody in a wheelchair going up to a building with no ramp, or maybe going into another building with narrow doorways their wheelchairs won't fit through. So sometimes there are just physical limitations and that gets in somebody's way. So it's helping them overcome that barrier. Right. So instead of going in the front door of the courthouse, we're going to go around to the side because they've got an elevator on the first floor and we can take it up to the second floor without having to go to the steps, or just finding a way around whatever's getting in their way of independence. Some things to keep in mind. Oops. What barriers to independence might be affecting your client and what specific barriers exist. So we should be TBS should understand the need for independence for everybody. Like understand that we all want that for ourselves, right? We all want to be able to take care of ourselves. And know what is involved with the barriers for that client achieving independence at all points during treatment. So if you know it's going to be a physical barrier, like not a ramp or not being able to fit through the doorways, coming up with an alternative plan, have something in place. If it's my mental health that's keeping me from moving forward. I won't take the bus to the store because of my anxiety, dealing with that. So that's a barrier for me, right? My anxiety. So it can look like a lot of different things. All right. So we're just going to take a couple of, let me see the time. All right. I think we're okay. I just want to take a couple of minutes and discuss some things that maybe you guys have found as barriers whoopsie. I'm not going to start doing that. That you guys have found as barriers with a specific client of yours. All right. Kelly Sheldon. I'm just going to the names I see first pop up. So Kelly Sheldon, go ahead.
I actually had a client, it started in November where he has difficulty with mobility and everything, but he would still sit in his wheelchair and try to move himself forward, shuffling his feet, that sort of thing.
Good for him.
And they wound up, the facility during the holidays put him in I think it's basically like a reclining wheelchair, Jerry chair or something, which completely restricted his mobility and his ability to go into the hallways and everything. The staff couldn't figure out why he was so upset. I explained that to them. I think it's because of this. Asked him, is that fair to say? And he said, absolutely. He's back in his wheelchair now.
Nice. And way to advocate for your guy. Good for you. Nice. I'm not sure who was next. So Chelsea?
I have a client currently that is having a barrier with, we had COVID in the building, and her big goal was to get out of her room. And she was her anxiety came in as a barrier because of
No.
the COVID and leaving
Yeah.
home. And then she got the neurovirus, which
Bless her
then,
heart.
oh yeah. So, and then now she's just kind of using like, just every time I go in, I'm just not feeling good. I don't want to get up today. And then
Oh,
I'm just not feeling well. So we're working on getting that self-esteem back, reducing the anxiety so that she is back to getting out of her room.
that's tough. Bless her heart. Was she just getting hit, hadn't she?
Yeah,
That'd be frustrating for anybody. You'd just be like, want to stay under the covers and call it a day.
that's what she wants to do.
Goodness.
And we talked about that
Yeah.
as well. It's like, it's okay to have bad days too. Nobody can
Yep.
have great days 100%.
That's it. Some days you just gotta put your big girl panties on and go. All right. Let's see, who was next? Uh, Cameron. I don't know what order you guys raised your hands, so I apologize. All right, Cameron, then Lily, then Lisa.
I was going to say I have a client who needs a lot of both physical and verbal prompts. So such as like, wiping her mouth, or when she goes to the bathroom, like staff, I've heard they've had to like, you know, both verbally and physically prompt her, like to do the appropriate steps when going to the bathroom.
Mhm.
Or else she'll just kind of stand there and just kind of look like
Yeah,
she doesn't know what to do. So like myself, and staff have like had to help her, again with wiping her mouth when she has stuff on her mouth,
yeah.
and going to the bathroom. So
Prompt dependent.
yes.
Yeah, very much so. Good deal. And then Lily?
So my client, he's got two barriers. One physical, he's blind, and then the other, he only speaks Spanish. So as a result of that, like he's told me many times in sessions how he feels isolated, but he
I
doesn't feel
bet.
comfortable leaving his room by himself because he can't see anything.
Yeah.
So him and I have been like trying to work to do activities that like include like noise or like playing on like things that like he can feel.
Yeah.
And I've like instructed the facility as well, like please bring him out because there's two other like gentlemen on his floor that speak Spanish. And I
Well,
was like,
yeah.
and try to, and like I facilitated like introducing them because I speak
Good.
Spanish, to like
Yes.
introducing them, like bring him out of his room, like if he's feeling it, like 2 to 3 times a week, and just like bring one of my other client, he loves to stay in his room. So I'm like,
Mm.
bring him out and say, hey, so and so's out here, like just like talk because he can't
Needs
see
a friend.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a friend. And they like never bring him out of his room. So slowly but surely
That's
they've
not
been bringing him
okay.
out. They've been bringing him out of his room. I know. So slowly but surely they've
Yeah.
been bringing him out of his room so he can like
Good.
interact with people, even if he can't see them. Like some people will go up and like hold his
Just,
hand and they'll say hi to
yeah.
him. So it's been nice to see that like start to like slowly start to work.
Good. Well, that's good. That's kind of, well, that's like, oh, bless his heart. That would be terrifying, wouldn't it? You can't understand the language and you can't see what's coming at you. Just, oh my goodness.
I know. So
Thank
he's got
you.
high anxiety with that.
I bet. Well, good luck with him. Thank you. Lisa,
That poor
you're at.
sweetie. But that brings to mind one of my favorites. He
Mhm.
is very misunderstood. The staff is so just done with him because all he does is yell for help, and nobody can get what he wants because he doesn't know what he wants. So he's got a severe communication issue,
Okay.
as well as like when he tries to eat, it either hurts or he says he can't chew it because he doesn't have teeth. Like, I think it actually hurts. So I finally got him into speech therapy so that he can work
Good.
on that. It took weeks. This
Oh gosh.
like this guy, I
That's
mean, he's the
frustrating.
sweetest person, and then he's been sick for like 2 weeks, and I've been working with him for about 5 weeks, maybe
Hmm.
something like that. And it took me a minute to figure out what was going on, but he's because he's got a communication issue. He just simply does not know how to express what
Yeah.
he needs. I don't even think he processes completely what he does need, and he just repeats. He's on repeat. Help me, help me, help me. Like
And
even
that's
right
probably
after
just
I
a,
leave the room. Help
yeah.
me, please, help me. He
And
doesn't.
he may not even Like he may not even really be asking for help. It may just be,
Right.
you know what I mean? Just
Exactly.
that
It just might
vocalization.
just
Maybe he just doesn't know. I
right.
don't.
But he speaks
Does he have?
clearly.
You said he doesn't have his teeth.
He doesn't.
He
No.
doesn't. I'll tell you what, though. No
It
joke. My
looks
mom used
like
to have a
what he
lot of trouble
has
with
is
her
broken.
gums.
Yeah.
It probably. His mouth probably hurts.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
he's
what
got
I keep
broken
saying.
teeth.
It looks like it. Uh-huh.
Oh, he
That's what
needs a
it looks like.
dentist. Oh, wow. That just like,
See, that's what
Mm.
I'm saying. I keep telling people, I'm like,
Yeah,
he
he
is
needs to go
not
to the
saying this for
dentist.
no reason. Like, I gotta take
Gosh.
care of my
Yeah,
baby. Like, this is
that's
terrible.
crazy. Well, good luck. Yeah,
Thanks.
keep advocating. You do that. You're doing good.
Always, always.
Thank you. Tiffany?
I actually have a client who, when I first started with her 9 months ago, she was extremely independent. She took her own showers. She like did all of her own routine. They would just have to come
Yeah.
in and bring her stuff. And then she had a stroke and fell
Mm-hmm.
and ended up having to have half of her skull removed.
Oh my gosh.
So she completely lost feeling on her right side, has since gained that
Oh,
feeling. And she's able to talk, she's able to do all of that. But I am now trying to help her learn her new independence
yeah.
because it's not what it was before.
Yeah.
So
That's
now
gonna be
we're
hard.
trying to get over the barrier of her having to wear a helmet when she's out of the room. And before, she was able to just get up and walk with her walker out of the room. Now
Yeah.
she's in a wheelchair. So, teaching her
Adjusting to
just,
her. Yeah.
yeah, just how to adjust and how to not just stay in your room because you feel embarrassed,
Yeah.
but in order for your mental health to get better, you gotta kind of open up your horizons and get back out and go back to your routine to help strengthen you mentally and physically.
Oh,
So,
that's a tough case.
yeah, that's what we're working on right now, but she's very receptive to it. We're
Good.
actually going to activities today.
Good.
So, she's very receptive to it and she's very excited because they're talking about a skull replacement surgery.
Oh,
So
good.
they're going to replace her skull back at the end
Yeah.
of February, I believe. But
Wow.
I mean, just kind of teaching her that, you still can be independent. You just
Yeah.
have to change the way
It
that
just
you're
looks a little
independent.
different.
Yeah.
It just looks a little different, and that's okay. But yeah, that'd be a hard pill to swallow, wouldn't it? You go from just everything's fine, I'm good to, wow. All right, you guys got some tough ones. Bless your hearts. All right, well, nice job. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. Truly, we appreciate it. All right, so all those lovely handouts that I sent to you. There were 9 total. One packet, yes, is 17 pages. It's like a handout. So you're probably already supporting your clients working towards independence, and maybe not even realizing it or formally documenting it. And I will say, like a lot of times when I look at progress notes, sometimes people just are not giving themselves credit for things that we're doing. You know what I mean? Like, so if we're, working on achieving independence, we're probably doing some skill building in there too, right? And we're probably assessing needs as well. We're probably monitoring symptoms as well. So it's just being mindful that you're giving yourself credit for everything that you guys are working on with your people. So all activities learned today must be connected to their mental health diagnosis and their treatment plan. Why do I keep doing that? All right, so we're going to use an activity checklist as an example for the intervention of achieving independence. All right. So I'm referring to handout 2.1. Let me go back here. Come on. There it is. Okay, can you guys, so this is a checklist, right? People with intellectual disabilities, cognitive delays may need assistance. There we go. May need assistance learning to complete their daily activities or household tasks, but they do feel good once they accomplish something, right? Once they get something, do something themselves, whether it's fry a hamburger or just make my bed, whatever the case may be. It gives them a sense of accomplishment, right? So some tasks that we can teach, and these again are just examples. These are not exclusive by any stretch. Putting laundry in a machine, folding clothes and putting them away, preparing food, shopping for groceries, or completing self-care or hygiene tasks. And because those are things that we can kind of break down into steps, right? You can simplify it. So before you begin to teach a task, you want to break it down into those steps. Now, and I will say this is true, when you go to write these out, I don't think I had ever stopped and thought before how many steps you actually take to wash a load of clothes. Think about literally every aspect of it from start to finish, and then teaching someone how to do that. So it can be overwhelming. You don't want to give them too much, because it can literally start from sorting the laundry to carrying it to the washer. I mean, we're not, depending on your client and what they have, but we'll just keep this kind of simple. So like this one, it's just literally the steps of loading and washing a load of clothes. So turning it on, opening it, put the clothes in, open the soap dispenser, adding the soap, closing the soap dispenser, set the machine, and push start. So again, simplified, but we can break it down into steps. All right, so you want to be specific about how to sort laundry and demonstrate in this particular case, like how to do it for them. Okay, so if I've got a pile of clothes here, my colors I'm going to put here, my whites I'm going to put here, and show them, do it with them, teach them how to do it. And again, this is just as an example, but this is true for, many, many things. Now, once you've shown them the correct way to do it, let them do it, or have them helping you as you're sorting. Maybe they threw a black shirt in the white pile, but then you can, okay, no, let's put that one over here. And then make sure you're only practicing when your client wants to be engaged with it. Because if we make it like a job, right? If we make it not a positive experience, then they're really probably not going to want a lot to do with it. So you want to make it positive for them. And it probably will take several sessions to teach each task or to teach a task. And that's okay. You got your client's own speed. Role playing is also a good one. If you're teaching skills where your individual may face distractions or unexpected interactions, it does help to role play. So, and this is referring to handouts 2.3 and 2.4. Show you those real quick. Here's 2.4. Okay, there we go. There's 2.2. That's what we just looked at. And then grocery shopping on a budget. This is 2.3, and then 2.4 handout. It's grocery shopping. Now this one's 3 pages. So it's kind of got just some different formats of kind of the same thing. Given choices. So this particular one, it says you can cut and paste the pictures to show the correct order of buying groceries. But again, whatever works better for your person. All right. So when we excuse me. So for example, if we're buying groceries, we can practice, what do I do if I run into my neighbor when I'm picking out my apples? What do I do? Do I just stop and chat them up and hang out? And then we end up sitting there for 20 minutes because you know how chatty I can be. But we want to teach them, okay, it's okay. You want to say hello to somebody. We don't want to be rude, right? But we don't want to type all the time. Just a greeting and passing, and then let's go back to focus on our list, on our grocery list, and what we need to do. So it's just demonstrating how to keep moving, how to move forward, and not get stuck. All right, we have a household chores activities checklist, and this is 2.7. There it is. Well, that's small. Okay. There we go. All right. Oh, it's a little blurry. But anyway, so we've got a list of skills and then 3 columns for I do it well, I can do it, but it's hard, or I need help to do it. And that can help you figure out like where to start, with different skills. Excuse me. So this checklist is designed to let you look at daily activities to assist your individual to eventually complete independently. And again, it also gives you a chance to assess the skills that they currently have, things they need help with, things they don't need help with. All right, so this one, that checklist, it's a great one to identify and positively reinforce what they can already do well and with support, as well as identify areas to work on in the future. The teeth brushing handout, this one, I don't know why this one makes me smile. It's silly. But you want to explain excuse me.
I have a question.
Yes, absolutely.
For that last slide,
Go back.
the checklist, because you said that it goes back to the assessing. Can we use that as achieving independence and the assessment of needs?
Yeah, because that's what it is, right? It's assessing, the needs of your client. It's doing both.
And we can modify it to fit our client with our own questions.
Yeah, make it personable to your person. Yeah, absolutely.
I
And
have
that's
a
what I mean.
question on the same thing.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Number 17 says lock the front door, shop for food. So I wanted to know if it's actually 21 things or if those are connected in some way.
Let me see where we're at.
I know it's hard to see.
No, you're fine.
I use my phone. I just open it up.
Open the adult one so I can see it. I'm opening everything but the one I want. I'm literally opening everything but the one I want. That's funny. There it is. Okay, this is what I was looking for. So a little bit. All right, now which one again? I'm sorry.
Number 17 says lock the front door, shop for food. And I was wondering if that's
yeah, I'd say that one probably just got maybe backspaced.
Okay.
When they were drinking. That's a nice catch. Very nice catch. So yeah, there's 21 on there.
I am too literal. I am so sorry.
No, don't apologize at all. That's funny. That is funny. But it serves multiple purposes, right? It can serve multiple, or it can fill different roles. No, never be sorry. Those are good questions and good things to point out. All right. Let's see where we're. Okay, so this handout, brushing your teeth, we've got pictures and words, right? We've got the steps numbered. It's like appealing to look at, right? So it's something that somebody's going to be able to, okay, step 1, I'm squeezing the toothbrush on the toothpaste, or squeezing the toothbrush on the toothpaste, squeezing the toothpaste on the toothbrush. Let me say that correctly. But again, so that's like a simple one that someone can follow. And depending on your client's learning style, maybe that's the type of handout they need. Maybe not, because we all learn differently, right? What works for me is not necessarily going to work for you. And the same with our clients. All right. We have social stories. Social stories, these are illustrated books that kind of look like a comic strip, right? You can use them to show your clients how people do things like brushing your teeth, putting on a coat, but they're also helpful for teaching how to ask for assistance or to respond to a change in routine. So if you know, like something's going to change about your client's schedule next week, you can use a social story to kind of help them prepare for that. Some people do have a difficulty when they're I'm somebody that has difficulty when their routine gets disrupted. So planning ahead of time can be helpful. And improving our communication. We are never going to be too old or too young to learn independence, ever. We can use visuals, pictures, diagrams, just to reinforce what we're trying to teach. Technology can be a friend, big time. There's lots of really useful apps that can be utilized. So you want to use a variety of techniques to teach each task. We don't want to be boring, right? We want to keep our clients engaged. We want them to be involved. Practice the tasks occasionally, even once learning is complete, because that just lets them just keep that routine, keep those steps in mind, not to forget. And be sure to praise your clients for each step they take towards independence. Like, don't we all love it when you get that little "atta girl," good job. It's encouraging for anybody, and especially if you've got somebody who struggles with their self-esteem. It's really important to give them that positive feedback. All right, and documenting. So you want to make sure that we are linking the interventions and activities back to their mental health symptoms. Be clear what specific barriers are, like Stacy's anxiety is getting in the way of her riding the bus to go do her grocery shopping. Again, so just getting all those facts in. All right. So in every note, as we know, you have to choose at least one, if not more, of the interventions you provided. So for each intervention, you'll indicate what activity or activities that you engaged with the client in to accomplish that intervention. The best version will include the name of the intervention, how it ties back to the goal and objective, and it outlines medical necessity, and it will mention the client's mental health diagnosis. All right, so looking at this one, we've selected achieving independence and activity of social independence. Oh, all right. So let's look at the client response. So we selected at least one of the boxes. We're saying that Sally participated and engaged. We identified needs. We identified symptoms. So we're going to reference the activity. Whoops. You'll reference the activity worked on to address the mental health symptoms. You'll mention the actual mental health symptoms that we're hoping to decrease. We'll have quotes of the client using the client's name. Make sure that we're saying things like the client stated or the client reported. Sally felt positive about the handout that we worked on. How did they respond? So just the best version of this note. Now, this is the best client response example because it includes client quotes, like Sally's here. Let me back up. So in our client response, Sally shared anxiety about slipping in the tub. Agreeing to apply anti-slip strips would help make her feel safer as with getting a shower chair. Sally shared that due to a dexterity issue, washing her hair is often difficult for her. She gets shampoo in her eyes, and so she often skips it. Sally shared that after a shower, she does enjoy the clean feeling and is more likely to want to socialize. However, noted it's just so much work, and sometimes I just don't have the energy for it. Sally stated she is proud of making progress with brushing her teeth, using deodorant, and noticed an increase in this based on her hygiene chart. All right, so what are we looking at here? Excuse me. So we've got, this includes client quotes. So we've got Sally quoted, it's just so much work and sometimes I don't have the energy for it. And how is this a barrier to Sally achieving her independence? Anybody? What do you think? How would this hinder Sally's independence? How's it a barrier? Go ahead, Kelly.
She's so afraid of getting hurt that she'll do without.
There you go. That's absolutely it, which in turn leads to
increased mental health symptoms.
Yep.
Anxiety, etc.
Yep. So if I'm already depressed, now I've isolated myself because I'm stinky and my hair is greasy, but I'm terrified I'm going to fall. So I can't do it. So now I'm isolated and I still need a shower. So it's just not good for anybody. Right. Okay. So, and then the client response. So in this one, a hygiene chart is mentioned. So that's an activity, right? That's one of the activities within, excuse me. And it also links improvement in the client functioning because socializing, have increased socialization as I'm completing my hygiene test, right? If I feel better about myself, I tend to go outside of my room more. Excuse me. And then our homework. So this particular plan is the best because it will outline what the client is going to do outside of the session to continue to work on their goals and objectives. And it will show how to continue practicing what was taught or done in session. So just to blow this up a little bit. And what's highlighted are some of those indicators. So Sally agrees to budget and shop for a shampoo visor to keep the shampoo out of her eyes, for anti-slip strips for her shower to help prevent falls, and a shower chair with support from staff to decrease anxiety associated with showering. So that's my plan. That's how I'm going to overcome my barrier, right? I'm going to put the money back and then I'm going to go buy these things to help me feel safe in the shower. So now once I'm taking a shower every day and I'm getting cleaned up, I can plan 2 social outings during the next week and to shower before each outing to overcome symptoms of depression and increase my socialization. So it all kind of ties together, right? Does it make sense?
I have a question.
Absolutely.
So when you did the intervention and everything that you noted on the top of that, you kind of already put in there, we need the shower strips and let's try this and blah, 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 blah. So then when you get back to so you have the progress note. And then when you get down to the homework, and it could be me, I absolutely could be doing it wrong, but mine have never been that long or that detailed on a specific thing, a specific, whatever.
And that's
So
okay.
in this situation, I might just put, Sally has agreed to, twice this week before next session, she will go to the store and buy items to help in the shower, period. And then I would
And
go on
that's
the
okay.
next goal. Is it kind of essential that you lay all of this out on the homework if you've already addressed it in the progress note?
Well, is it going to be, this is what she's going to do moving forward. So, and you're still, like the way you just said it, you're still addressing the barrier. Sally's got to go shopping for
Okay.
the things she needs. So you're addressing the barrier being she's scared to get in the shower, right? Or her anxiety, she's afraid of falling. So you're
Right.
still addressing the barrier. You're just saying it different.
But like
You're just
for
not
the
as
homework, I
detailed.
wouldn't put like to support from her staff to decrease anxiety. I'm not putting that like in the homework if I've already said that or addressed it in the progress note. Or am I doing it wrong? And I
No,
need
you're
to be
not
doing it in the
wrong,
homework part instead
but
of
just
the
add
progress
it.
note.
You want to add it to the homework. It's not
Okay.
either or. It's and. Does that
Okay.
help? Okay. And this
Yeah,
is a
it does.
very
That's what I was
detailed,
wondering. If
like
it was
this is a
already
very, very
addressed once,
detailed
are
note.
we doing it again? Okay.
Yeah, if it's going to be a continued, if it's something that she still needs to continue on, yeah. Like in this particular case, Sally hadn't bought any of this stuff yet. She didn't have anything,
Okay.
so she was just getting started. So then next week it's going to look different because, okay, she's already bought everything she needs to make her feel safe in the shower. So now the next time it'll be something completely different, hopefully.
Okay.
But yeah, no, you're not wrong. Okay, but just add to it. You can
So
never
the
have too
homework
much information. You really
the
can
homework
never have
should
too
be
much.
as detailed as the progress note then.
I would think yes.
Okay.
Okay. That's a good question. Thank you. All right. Ooh, we're running out of time. Okay. So we're always working for discharge. I'll tell you what, guys. So just remembering as you get near to discharge, you make sure to reassess your client's needs again, letting them know how to advocate for themselves. And it lets us know if they need services once they do discharge, once they do leave, because we want them to maintain their independence, right? All right, so you'll be having independence needs with the client, guardian, and staff. Okay, so let's, oh, we don't have time for that. All right. Okay, so does anybody have any questions? I know I had wanted to we'll do it next week, talk about something afterwards, but this was a really good class. I appreciate how engaged you guys are. Like, I really, really do. I love that. So thank you for that. Now, homework, as usual, is due by next Thursday at 9 a.m. I'll be sending you the link here in just a little bit. You'll get a copy of the PDF of the PowerPoint. So you can use that when you go to take your quiz, like kind of refer to that because all the answers are pulled directly off the PowerPoint, like directly off of it. So that'll help you use that as a tool. And then make sure that your progress note is from this week, that it is achieving independence, and that you're utilizing one of the activities that we provided this week. Any one of those is fine. And again, make it customizable to your client if you need to. That's fine. And if anybody has any questions, has any trouble at all, please just hit me up. You can call me on Teams, email me. My phone number is in my signature, my email if you need to reach out. But does anybody have any questions about anything?
I have a question.
Sure thing.
When do we get like the results of our quiz and stuff like that?
You click on the link that you took, the link that you click to take the quiz.
Okay.
If you click that, it'll take you back and you can see your quiz, your score, and any comments that I made. I try to provide feedback every week on the progress notes, just little things to kind of help you kind of do better. But you guys are doing well. Well, and again, I appreciate a chatty class. I don't like to feel like, there's crickets chirping in the background. All right. Did anybody else have any questions about anything at all?
I have one more question.
Sure thing.
Just out of curiosity, when we're doing our progress notes, would it be more helpful for you, or you kind of don't do it using the same clients, or should we use different clients?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. All right.
That's entirely up to you. It just needs to be a TBS note. Can't be a therapy note for the therapist. Has to be TBS note. Has to be from this week, and sorry, and has to be from this week. And again, just achieving independence and preferably using one of the activities provided for this week. Okay, we want to see that like we're making sense to you, that it's helping you guys.
When you say that one of the activities provided this week, do you literally mean like laundry or brushing
you
teeth?
can make it whatever for one of your
Okay.
clients,
Okay.
but,
All right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, make it fit your client.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Anybody else need anything?
I had a question.
Sure. And you guys can jump off if you want. You don't have to stay unless you got questions.
Bye,
Okay.
Cece. Thank you.
Bye. Have a good week. Thanks, guys.
Good weekend, everyone.
Bye. Have a good weekend.
All right. Who had a question? Brandy, I see you now. Go ahead, hon.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so my question for the homework that we had last week,
Mhm.
some of my answers, I answered the questions right, but I added an S to the end. So like,
Let me go back and look. Let me grab yours. Because bear with me, it just takes me a second to get in there. Randy, where are you? No, some of those questions, because forms, actually, if things are spelled wrong, it'll like give you deduct points. So we go through and correct those,
okay.
if that makes sense.
Okay, because when I was doing my supervision yesterday, I was telling my person, and I'm like,
Here, let me show you real quick.
psychological needs instead of psychological need.
And I went back and no,
my
you're
points.
good.
And she was
Yeah,
like, well,
you're
just
good.
talk to her. I'm
No,
like,
you're
okay.
good. And I guess I should have mentioned that because I had a few emails from a few of you about that. Like I got it right, but I spelled it wrong. Please note, like if the answer is correct, and it's just because we can only put it in there so many different ways for it to recognize. So, and inadvertently, somebody's going to throw one in there that we didn't think of.
Okay.
So it'll mark it wrong, but no, I went back. You're good. No, if you got the right answer, I don't grade spelling. I just grade the content.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well,
were you able to go back and see your score yet?
I haven't went back in there yet.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back in there in a few minutes.
You did very well.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, is there anything else for anybody else? No? All right. Well, you guys have a great Addie.
I don't know why, but it would not let me on through my laptop. I'm literally on from my phone.
That's okay.
And because I don't know why we tried my hotspot, my phone hotspot, and the facility's Wi-Fi, and it would not let me on.
That's
and
okay.
even now, it still just wouldn't do it.
That's okay. And what's your name? Because and I'm sorry, all I'm seeing is Samsung.
Now, I'm the other Kelly.
Like you're not Samsung. What's your name?
Kelly Lumpkin.
Okay. All right. That's all right. Okay. So I will get everything out to you guys here in just a little bit, and including a recording of today's class, the PDF of today's class, of the PowerPoint and everything. So you'll have everything. Okay. All right.
You guys have a good weekend.
You too. And thank you, everybody.
Bye.
See you next week.